You know that feeling when your brain just feels foggy, or you find yourself wishing your memory was just a little bit sharper? Well, what if the secret to fixing that isn't some fancy new supplement, but it's actually what's on your plate? Today, we're diving into the incredible science that links the food we eat directly to our brain's health.
So, can your diet really change your mind? It's a massive question, right? But a growing mountain of research is pointing to one very clear answer. Absolutely, yes. What you put in your body has a direct and honestly a profound impact on your mind, your focus, and even your mood. So let's get into it and break down exactly how this all works.
All right, here's our game plan. We'll start with the why, the science connecting your gut and your brain. Then we'll jump into the what, the specific foods that act as builders, protectors, and messengers for your brain. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with a super simple action plan you can start using like today.
Okay, first things first. You know that old saying, you are what you eat? Well, it turns out it's way more literal than you might think, especially when we're talking about your brain. Let's dive into the science behind it.
So, think about it like this. Your brain is a high-performance engine. It's on 24/7, it never shuts off. And just like a race car, it's not going to perform at its peak on low-grade fuel. It needs the good stuff. The right nutrients, healthy fats, antioxidants, they're that premium fuel. They literally build the engine's parts, protect it from all that wear and tear, and make sure all the wiring is firing just right.
And this brings us to a concept that is just absolutely fascinating. It's called the gut-brain axis. And look, this isn't just some vague idea. It's a real physical and chemical superhighway. You've got trillions of bacteria down in your gut, and they're basically acting like a second brain. They're constantly sending messages and signals up to your head, and they're influencing everything from your mood to how you deal with stress.
So how does this whole thing actually work? Well, it's pretty much a simple chain reaction. You eat foods that your good gut bacteria love, right? That helps create a healthier, more balanced gut. Then, that happy gut starts sending all these positive, calming signals up to your brain. And the results? You actually feel it. You feel it in your mood, in your mental clarity, in your ability to focus. It's amazing.
All right, so if our brain is that high-performance engine, what's the best fuel to put in it? Let's start with our first category, which I like to call the brain builders. We're talking about healthy fats, the stuff that forms the literal physical building blocks of your brain. And in this category, we're going to focus on two absolute superstars, fatty fish and a whole bunch of nuts and seeds. Why? Because they're both just jam-packed with the kind of healthy fats your brain is literally made of. Okay, let's talk fatty fish. Things like salmon, tuna, sardines. They are loaded with omega-3s. And these aren't just any good fats. They are absolutely essential components of your brain's cell walls. Think of them like this. They keep your brain's wiring flexible and fast. On top of that, they're a super powerful anti-inflammatory, which means they're basically calming down stress and irritation right at the cellular level.
Now, for nuts and seeds, think walnuts, almonds. I want you to picture them as your brain's personal security team. They deliver vitamin E and a bunch of other antioxidants, and these things form a protective shield. They're defending your brain cells from something called oxidative stress, which is basically cellular-level damage. It's kind of like rust on metal. And that protection, it is so key for keeping our brains sharp as we get older.
Okay, moving on to our next group, the brain protectors. If the fats were the builders, these are the foods that act as your brain's dedicated defense force, fighting off all that daily wear and tear that just comes from thinking, stressing, and just living your life. And in this category, we've got three major players. We've got berries, dark leafy greens, and yes, you heard that right, dark chocolate. Each one brings its own unique superpower to the table. You've got polyphenols in berries that are amazing for memory, and then you've got flavonoids in chocolate that actually improve blood flow to your brain. How cool is that? And hey, this isn't just me saying this stuff sounds good. It is backed by some really solid science. I mean, just look at this. Clinical trials and reviews are showing that blueberries can seriously improve memory, executive function, and even mood. Those polyphenols they are legit brain superheroes. Now, about that dark chocolate, there's a really crucial number to remember here, and it's this one, 70%. You've got to aim for at least 70% cacao to really get those brain-boosting flavonoids. That's the magic number. That's the threshold where it really starts to help increase that blood flow to your brain.
All right, and for our final category, let's talk about the brain messengers, or what I'm calling our special allies. These are the foods that provide the raw materials for your brain's incredibly important communication network.
So here, we're going to zero in on two of these special allies,
eggs, which are just so crucial for memory, and fermented foods, which tie right back into that gut-brain connection we talked about.
So eggs, and especially the yolks, are one of the best sources out there for a nutrient called choline. Now, why is that important? Because your brain uses choline to make something called acetylcholine, and that is a vital neurotransmitter. It's like a messenger that's essential for memory, for focus, for learning. It is absolutely critical for sharp thinking.
And here's where it all comes full circle, right back to that gut-brain axis. Fermented foods, think yogurt, kefir, kimchi, they are packed with probiotics. And the research is just incredible. It shows these good bacteria can improve your cognitive flexibility, lower stress, and even boost something called BDNF. That stands for brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is a mouthful, I know. Just think of it as fertilizer for your brain, literally helping it grow new cells.
Whew. Okay, so we have covered a lot of ground. The science is fascinating, right? But the big question is, how do we take all of this and turn it into a simple, practical plan we can actually use?
Well, here it is. And look, the key here is that this is not about some radical, crazy diet overhaul. It's all about small, consistent additions. That's it. Try to get some fatty fish in a couple of times a week. Make a small handful of nuts your go-to snack. Throw some berries on your breakfast. It's these simple, repeatable things that really build a healthier, stronger brain over time. So, I'll leave you with this question. You don't have to do all of this at once. Just pick one thing. Seriously, just one. Which of these brain-boosting foods are you going to try and add to your plate this week? Whatever you choose, your future brain is definitely going to thank you for it.